Hello, welcome to the OHBM 2017 Keynote series. As part of the Communications Committee, my name is Chen, and we caught up with Wednesday's keynote speaker, Ruff. So it's great to see you at the meeting, and we have an interview of you on the OHBM blog, but I'm glad to have a few minutes to chat with you in person. So do you recall your first OHBM, and how has the meeting changed over the years, you think?
Yeah, quite a few meetings of my first HBMs. I think my first one was in Budapest in 2004. But what probably is the most vivid memory is that I think in Toronto in 2005 I had my first podium presentation.
Okay.
And that was of course quite a daunting experience, but then also very satisfying. And yeah, I've been a regular at the meeting ever since. And I think the meeting has changed in that there has been an emphasis on different topics over the years. So I seem to remember that in the earlier days of my attendance, there was more of a focus on cognitive neuroimaging, at least that's what I attended. And then there seems to have been a phase where there was a lot of emphasis on resting state imaging, and now big data, and the meeting now seems to be getting a bit wider in focus now.
Right, with more topics.
Yes.
Do you remember what your podium talk was on?
Yes.
Your first podium talk?
Yes, I do. It was my first study in which we combined TMS and fMRI, so we did brain stimulation inside the scanner to study how the frontal eye fields may causally control activity in visual cortex to bring about effects of attention and motivated behavior on sensory processing.
Wow. Yeah, so TMS and fMRI are still a hot topic these days. So how do you think neuroimaging techniques and their development has helped evolve your research?
Yeah, I mean, I started out doing neuroimaging, cognitive neuroimaging just by itself in order to basically detect where in the brain activity may correlate with cognitive processes.
Right.
And then for me, certainly a very big development was this combination with TMS. So I got very interested in this question about causality and how can we find out what brain processes control behavior, and perhaps how that may be instantiated in connections between brain areas, so connectivity. Using TMS fMRI for that definitely was a big game changer for my own research and for how I started thinking about how the brain may do this. And I think a second development that really started to influence my research was that I started not just using paradigms from cognitive psychology and cognitive science to study behavior, but also to widen this to paradigms from behavioral economics. So more, you could say, more realistic social interaction paradigms, and then coupled also with computational modeling of behavior to start making formal predictions about processes that could be implemented in the brain. So bringing all of this together really is only possible because of methodological developments, and it continues to influence my research.
All right, so I look forward to hearing about these at your keynote lecture on Wednesday. So last question for you is, what role do you see scientific communication in helping scientists like yourself?
I think that it should be a very integral part of our work, because I think we have a bit of a tendency, of course, to get stuck in discussions just with our colleagues and to start debating more and more fine-grained questions. And I myself do quite a lot of science communication these days because I feel that it helps me really also to gauge how the public actually understands our work and what the questions are that they're interested in. So I really see this as a two-way communication where we get very valuable feedback about whether the ways that we study the questions that should interest every human being, really, whether the ways that we study them are accessible enough to generate interest. So I see it as a very valuable part of our work.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. It was very nice talking to you.